Well, hello my YouTube friend. Today it is my pleasure to present you those two TNT that are now in my collection, of course coming from Master Tom Mayo, as you may have recognized, of course. What you may not probably figure is why I have two Mayo in my collection, because I made a kind of video. It was, I don't know, some months ago, saying all the good things that I thought about Mayo, and of course, how can I say anything wrong about Mayo, except that I really didn't like the style, and they didn't speak to my heart. I remember saying that. They didn't speak to my heart. But actually I had a friend, my dear brother Abdullah from Qatar, that sent me on loan 3 of his pieces. And in those 3 pieces, the smallest and the smallest one and the less significant one compared to the 2 other really rare pieces that he had was actually a TNT. And a TNT with a very nice, with this grind actually, smaller than this one, with this grind and with another Damascus. And the little one, the small one, this TNT actually was the one that impressed me the most. And if you just check back my video, I haven't even checked it back, but I'm pretty sure that I said that eventually if I'd get one Mayo, it would be a TNT. I didn't care more for the Dr. Death or the, what was the other one again? I don't know, the other flat one here. Damn if I remember. Anyway, the TNT, I liked it because it, you know, it represents something that I like about the handle. I like curved handle, and I like also this really nice, I mean, the blade shape can differ, you know, they can really be different, and you can have this Bowie or a Persian or whatever on a TNT, and you can have the same on the other on the Dr. Death, for example. The only difference being the shape of the handle. Then after that, you can have all the blades that you can imagine. But actually, the package that I had was this one, was this kind of package. The TNT handle, sorry, with this thing. And really, I liked it. And when I had this opportunity to get that, and especially coming from my dear brother Doc Slava in Israel, I couldn't miss it. And yeah, since he wanted to either sell it or trade it, I found a way to make that deal with him and get back and get this piece that I absolutely adore, and that I'm gonna present you, because I'm pretty sure that I made a video about the other Mayo. But this is what I wanted to say. You know, Tom Mayo is making knife for, oh man, years and decades almost, not almost, decades. If I remember correctly, he started like in 1981, and basically all his models are, yeah, I mean, the basic one is gonna be like slabs of titanium and holes. This is really almost the patent that you can find. He invented that. I mean, sleek knives with holes in slabs of titanium. Then after that, of course, he made more dressy knives with mokutai or some scales with bolsters or whatever. You can have a lot of configuration now on a Mayo. But I didn't want to go for those, because to me, that is the traditional Mayo. That is what you think. When you think about Mayo, you won't think about the full mokutai or any kind of bolster or whatever. When you think of Mayo, this is the traditional Mayo. Slabs of titanium with a whole pattern, whatever it is, but a whole pattern, you know. So that's why I want it in my collection. And also the blade shapes. You have all kinds of crazy blade shape that he makes today. Not a lot, but he makes different kind of crazy blade shape with even some compound grind. I've seen that recently, some collaboration or whatever. But this is, I mean, what defines him. Those Bowies or Persian, or even this nice, really nice drop point. So that was the one that I really adored, and I'm really happy to have that in my collection now. One last word about Mayo. I don't know, man, check the other video. Everyone, even including me, gave some intel about Mayo. So I'm not going to be really enlightening for you if I speak more about Tom Mayo. What I wanted to present you probably is this one now. So yeah, as I said, TNT, both of them TNT. This one probably had this video. You can tell definitely the improvement. This one is a younger build, and you can tell the difference between the older one and the younger one. But it's even more hefty, you know. The whole pattern will be way more interesting. You know, this one you can tell, you know, it's still chamfered, you know, on the center hole, but the other hole are just drilled holes. Those one, if I can get to focus here, of course, on the big one, you see that inside the hole, inside the chamfer, there is way more work. Here it's almost polished also on the inside, on the hole. Yeah, definitely way more work on the newest build. Then the detent is going to be better also. Hear that click. And on this one, the detent is a little bit, yeah, you see, a little bit weaker, I would say. I don't care much about the detent because both of them, when you have a hole opening like that, both of them is fair, you know, fair. But you see, you can break it, of course, but it doesn't really matter. It's enough of a detent for that. For a flipper, I would be really pissed if I get this detent. But with a knife like that, if you want to have this smoothness of opening, and man, is that a smooth knife to open. All his knives that I tested are that smooth. And look at that. Oh man, that smoothness. It's not like the smoothness where the blade, you know, falls by its own weight. I remind you that it's on washer. But it's a smoothness that a knife like that has like, I don't know, probably 10 years. At the very least, it has 7, 8 years, something like that. And the smoothness is there as if it was like the first day, whether it's with the thumb or with the index. This is gonna be a really nice and smooth action. You need to feel that. I mean, when I saw the video prior to have those knives in hand, I didn't really understand what people meant when they say that this knife was smooth, because when I saw them, you know, playing with a knife like that, to me it appeared to me like, I don't know, a regular knife. The blade was just, you know, laying down like that compared to my Shogorov or other smooth knife on bearing. I was questioning, you know, really the veracity of that smoothness. But when you have those in hands, man, it's so delicate. It's incredible, and of course on washers exclusively. So now let's talk a little bit about this beautiful TNT. So the TNT, as I said, has this roundness in the handle, which I adore. Not the roundness only in the design here, but the roundness also on the contouring here. You see, it's rounded like that on the axis, and it's rounded here on the transversal part, which you see here. You see, I like that. You have this, it gives you a nice feel because it's gonna fit perfectly in your hand, in your palm here, and also you feel that oh man, the grip is so fantastic. The only thing that I don't like on, one of the things that I don't really care is the design of the choil. The choil is really in the lower part of the handle, and that to me doesn't make any sense, because look at that. I mean, you have all this, you know, all this space here that is spoiled, and I don't understand why he wouldn't put the choil, in a more upward position. This is the only thing that is a flaw. But actually, with this side, that's fine, because you have, you know, a perfect grip like that. No jimping, but, you know, for EDC, man, is that a great knife for EDC? Absolutely fantastic, phenomenal. So very nice roundness. The whole pattern is fair, I would say. You know, it's not the best in the world, but yeah, you know, it's a kind one. You have a center hole here that is chamfered, as you can see, and regular hole with a small, medium, you know, and it increases a little bit in size. It's not like overwhelming or dramatic, but definitely a small and a small hole, and with a kind of wave going up. And on the other side, unfortunately, there is only holes here, not on the lock, of course. So it's lacking some holes, but whatever. Then, of course, as you can see, the clip here is going to be the regular banded clip, you know, the regular spring clip that you have with Mayo, and even on the more recent construction, he didn't change. I mean, he didn't go for any kind of 3D or contour clip. It's not his way of seeing knives, and to me, I couldn't even imagine a Mayo with other things than a bandit clip like that. But you see, on the recent one, he's going now for, I don't know when, but he went for a tip-up carry only. And on the oldest build, it's a tip-down carry, which for me, I've talked about that relentlessly on other videos. It doesn't make any kind of issue when it's a thumb, when it's a manual knife. Why? Because I'm gonna do the the demonstration again. When you take it out of the pocket, you know, the knife is like that, and when you take it out of the pocket, boom, it's ready for the action. If you take tip of carry with a thumb with a manual opening, you have to take the knife out of the pocket to turn it around and to open it. So I still prefer the tip of carry. I've talked about that relentlessly, but I still prefer the tip of carry. But I couldn't care less if I had, for a manual opening, a tip down carry when it's done perfectly as this one. Of course, I couldn't stand to have a tip down carry for a flipper, that is for sure, because when you take out a flipper, you know, you're gonna boom, you know, it's gonna be ready like that. If you have a flipper like that, you have to take it out, and then after that to rotate and open the flipper, which doesn't make any sense. Enough said. So now I still have 4 minutes and I've spoke about the handle. What can I say more about that? Nothing. The lock, as you can expect, is perfect. The action, I've spoken about that. Look at that. 8 years after, no stickness whatsoever, and it's rock solid, rock solid. That's just perfection. I don't know that this knife has been put in any kind of use, but man, after 8 years, it's still smooth as silk and rock solid. That's just phenomenal. Now I want to talk about this blade. Not the blade itself, which is a draw point with a dramatic hollow grind. You cannot appreciate probably here because it's not satin, but that's a dramatic hollow grind. But actually, what drove me crazy is that Devlin Tom's Damascus, the Beacon Weaver. This is probably one of the best Damascus, the best looking Damascus I've ever seen. Why? Because it has this shiny, almost like a Damasteel. You know what I like about Damasteel actually, or the new Senmai, the Armor Core, or the 6K Senmai, is that you have some satin, some prevalent satin, you know, compared to the dark Damascus. What I don't really like in the Damascus actually is this black and dark aspect. With the Damasteel and with the Senmai, and now with this one, what I appreciate is really the nice, you know, bright reflection that you can see here with the light, and all those, you know, almost satin parts that you have on this Damascus. And even better, it is textured. So when you put you feel, I don't know what I have in my, sorry, my hands are messy. I must have put some blood in my finger. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry, absolutely sorry. That's a mess. So when you touch, it's really awful actually. I'm not even sure that I'm going to post this video. I'm sorry about that. It's horrible. Yeah, when you touch the Damascus, it has this beautiful, beautiful texture. Just splendid. I mean, I knew just on a picture what this Damascus looked like, but of all the Damascus that I've ever held in my entire life, I would say that hands down this is my favorite. So for the blade only, I would go for this knife. Also, after 8 years, the edge is still mirror polish. I don't know if you see that, but it's still mirror polish. Man, I'm gonna leave it at that because my fingers disgust me now and I need to to wash my hands, then wash my knives. But I really wanted to present you those knives. As you can tell, it's not the best centering in the world. Maybe I loosened a little bit too much the pivot because it was centered when I got it. But the centering is not the best thing that I see. You know, look at this one. It's also off on the right. It's not the best thing the best feature that I see with him. As for the detent, but as I told you, you know, I'd rather have this detent and have this smoothness than having a stronger detent at the very least for those opening. Yeah, one thing I wanted to tell you is that I wouldn't go. So if I like the TNT, I like those kind of blade shape, and also what I like is this opening. I would never go for a flipper with Mayo because he uses IKBS. To me, it doesn't make, for me actually, it doesn't make any sense. So this is the package that I like. So don't expect to have more Mayo because that's what I wanted to have. You know, one with a satin a TNT only, satin blade and a Damascus one. And with that being said, I'm gonna leave it at that and take some time to wash those filthy hands that presented you this video, because that was the discrepancy. You had two beautiful knives and two awful hands. Sorry about that, my friends, and I'll catch you very soon for another video with washed hands. Bye bye.